Criminal defense lawyer Jacob Jesin joins us now from Toronto. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. What do you make of this verdict?
It's very interesting. A lot of people have been having difficulty trying to reconcile how you have an attempt murder charge when the person's been killed. And what people need to understand is the difference between the two volleys of shots. He was found not guilty in reference to the first volley of shots, meaning that the jury couldn't say beyond a reasonable doubt that he wasn't justified in using self-defense or reasonable force. But when it comes to the second volley, those 5 seconds or 6 seconds in between, they're saying that at that point, when Sammy was on the ground, he came to he had the intention at that point to kill him, and he went ahead with those shots and did that.
As a lawyer, do you find this surprising at all?
It's surprising in the sense that you had the two different types of charges in relation to a person that's been killed. That's unusual. I don't think I was surprised with the verdict in any sort of way, no.
What message do you think this sends to police officers out there?
I think there's going to be some real hard look in the police force. You heard the chief talking today about some of the changes that they've made. I think they need to make more. I think there's the Akabuchi report. There was a lot of recommendations in that report that talked about police use of force, and some of those recommendations have not been put into effect just yet. The roving teams of potentially officers with mental health workers roaming around the city being responsive to calls of this type of nature. I think things like that really need to be taken into account and potentially put into effect sooner rather than later.
It seems extremely rare that police officers are charged, let alone convicted of something. Is that usually the case that in a trial like this, the officer is cleared of most charges?
I think there's been 11 cases, if I'm not mistaken, before this, types of charges like this where it's some aspect of murder, and in all those other cases, the officers have been cleared. This is, to my knowledge, the very first case of this nature where an officer has been found guilty.
Now, people are going to be wondering, a stay of proceedings is something that the defense is looking for. What exactly is that?
So it's regarding two things. One, really whether the minimum punishment of 4 years with a firearm in this case is cruel and unusual punishment in the sense, according to the charter, and alternatively, as you heard Peter Brody say in the news conference today, basically saying that the state trained Officer Forcillo in these use of force techniques, and now the state is using that training to now convict him of a charge. I think that would apply more if he was convicted of the second-degree murder charge in respect to the first volley, because that's where the training came into play, how Sammy responded and how he responded, the commands that he gave him, that he laid out, the 12 times that he told him to put the knife down, what Sammy was saying to him. That's when it would have been more applicable. With respect to the second volley, you have at that point, it's more of a subjective analysis. You have Sammy on the ground lying, and the jury obviously lying on the ground, and the jury obviously saying at that point it's no longer training. You form the intention to fire more in that case.
Criminal defense lawyer Jacob Jesin, we really appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate it.